we are using the color wheel as a guide to know what colors to use on our tessellation painting project. So 3 primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, are colors that cannot be mixed. They're your base, your primaries. If you mix a primary and a primary, you get a secondary. Now, a secondary color is sort of like in math when 1 + 1 = 2. So if you can think primary plus primary is secondary, 1 + 1 is 2. So yellow and red make orange, red and blue make purple, purple and yellow make green. Now if I take a primary and I mix it into a secondary, that will give me a tertiary. Sometimes they're called intermediate colors. So 1 + 2 makes 3. A primary and a secondary make a tertiary or intermediate color. Those are the ones that are named for the color family that they look the most like. So orange is our secondary. That means that this is yellow-orange. Red-orange, red and red-orange. Red-violet, blue-violet, blue-green, and yellow-green. Colors that don't cleanly fit into this are considered neutrals, and if you mix these 3 primaries together, you're going to get a brown. The next step is to transfer this information to your tessellation. You already have 12 sections, and you are going to start by labeling those 12 which color they're supposed to be. So we're using this color wheel. You can write on the outside of this because we are probably cutting this off, although that would be your choice later. All right, I like to start at the top with red. And as you come around, right, you're going to equally space your primary colors. So red, 1, 2, 3, yellow, 1, 2, 3, blue, and that should leave 1, 2, 3 in between. Now the one directly between are your intermediates. So the one between red and yellow is orange, between yellow and blue is green, between blue and red is violet. Then we add our tertiaries, and remember that they are named for the family they look the most like. So in this case, the orange and the red together, we're going to name for the red. So this is red-orange. Orange and yellow are yellow-orange. Yellow and green, yellow-green. Green and blue, named for the color it's most like. So it's on that blue side. It looks like blue. Green, blue-green. I almost said that wrong there. Between blue and violet, we have blue-violet. And between red and violet, we have red-violet. Now, let's go over those one more time. All I did was abbreviate with their initials, essentially. So starting at the top, red, red-orange, orange, yellow-orange, yellow, yellow-green, green, blue-green, blue, blue-violet, violet, and red-violet. Remember when you set up your workspace to paint that you want everything on the dominant hand side so that you're not reaching across in order to get your equipment and dragging your arm through this. You want to leave some space. Back up from the table just a little bit. You're going to need paper towel and water. You can put right up at the top. Your extra brushes can also be stored up at the top out of the way. And then we are going to be using palette paper to mix colors. So you only need a small piece of that for each color that you're going to be mixing. All right, remember that depending on the space that you're painting, you might want a smaller or larger brush. I'm going to use kind of an in-between one. I like to get it wet before I start. Now we have cups of colors. All right, we're going to start with the red, and the other ones would work the same way. So I'm going to talk you through the first one and then go from there. So I'm going to scoop up. Remember, don't put paint up here by the ferrule. See, I just scooped it at the end. And you're going to just roll your brush to make a little pile of color. So I'm going to get myself some red out here. That way I keep this paint clean. I'm doing all of my mixing on this little mixing square. So now I have a nice pile of red. I'm going to wash my brush. Remember, dab on the bottom, wipe on the edge, and dry it. Oh, I didn't do very good cleaning that. Let's try that again. All right, wipe. Okay. Now I'm going to scoop out some white. And you want kind of a big pile of white, because most of these tints of color, remember that's color in a white, that we are making are going to require you use the white. Now, red is pretty strong, so I'm going to start with just a little bit, and I'm going to mix it in. Now, notice that I'm mixing, well, there's the bell. That's annoying, very loud. I'm mixing in a circle so that it all stays in a pile, and I can roll my brush to get most of the paint off, because I just want to use the tip of these bristles. So the first one, and I'm missing a line on here actually, this line that goes right down the middle of these so I know where to stop. My lightest color is going to go either at the top or the bottom or wherever you want it. So in this case, I am making this bit at the bottom. My lightest color, my lightest tint of red, so I'm going to paint that in. It's kind of small. There it is, and it's light, very light. Now I'm going to add a little more red, mixing still in a circle to make it slightly darker, going in a circle, rolling my brush to make a pile, gathering that paint, and painting the next one on here slightly darker than the last one. Remember, I'm pushing the paint out to the edge so that I can stay inside those lines that I made. I'm going to add more red to make it even darker. Roll it in a circle there. And I'm going to come up here and paint the next one slightly darker. Oh, that's almost the same. Can you see that? It's hard to see the difference. So actually, I want to make it just a touch darker before I go ahead with that. So I'm going to come back and just paint over that a little bit. I'm pushing it out to the edges so that I keep nice clean lines. You can definitely turn the paper so that it's easier to work to that edge. All right, there's my third tint. So I'm going to add more red to make it darker, even darker. And paint the next one. Push the paint to the edge, so I need to keep nice clean lines. Need a little more paint. All right, notice that I did not wash my brush in between because there was no need for that. I've got to make it even darker for the last one, which in this case I'm going to use just plain red, and I don't think that last one I painted was dark enough. I might go over that again. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get some plain red, and I'm going to make this last space my solid color. Push the paint to the edges. I like to outline it and then fill it in just because it gives me more control. All right, there's a little bitty spot right in here, so I'm going to use just the very tip of those bristles, no pressure, because the more I push down, the bolder that line is. And now that I've done my red, I'm going to do the other two primaries next. So that would be blue and yellow, and I'm going to do it the same way so that the color is mixed into the white, and I start with the lightest and work my way to the darkest. till it's all filled in.